Now, a group of business leaders is among those calling for Biden to step aside. The Leadership Now project is a left-leaning organization aimed at protecting democracy. 400 current and former executives are a part of it. The group's CEO says the vast majority of them want a new candidate at the top of the Democratic ticket. Daniella Ballou-Aares is the head of the Leadership Now project. She joins us. Thanks so much for coming on here as we try and parse exactly what's happening with the president and his campaign. So 80% of your members say Joe Biden needs to step aside. Why?
Thank you, first of all, for having me, and happy July 4th. First and foremost, I want to say our number one concern is the risk that former President Trump presents to the economy, to national security, and the risk that he undermines rule of law. So our major concern is that Trump does not return to the presidency. And we are deeply concerned, however, that President Biden will not be able to make effectively the case against the former president. And that is just too risky for our nation right now. And for that reason, we have respectfully encouraged President Biden to pass the torch to a new Democratic leader.
And what levers do you believe your organization has? Is it money? Is it just influence? If you want him to step aside, it doesn't seem like he or his family are inclined to right now.
Look, we think in a democracy, in America's democracy, that both the voices of private leaders, whether it's in business and civic leaders, is really an important factor. We are also engaging with members of Congress and the House and the Senate, making our concerns heard and sharing those, of course, also with the White House and the administration. So we know that we alone will not drive this decision, but we believe that adding our voice to it and encouraging others to come forward and recognize the severity and risk of the situation is our obligation, frankly, to this country.
Is there anything that the president could do at this point, though, and I don't mean today, I mean in the next few weeks, that could change your mind?
Unfortunately, I think there has been a noticeable decline in the president's ability to make a robust case in not only this debate, but in other contexts. I think the debate was so severe that it reinforced concerns that had been there for some time. Of course, the polls now are showing very worrying signs about the president's viability. So it's really hard to see anything that would change that dynamic.
I understand you're speaking for yourself and to some extent for your members, but I have to ask, if Joe Biden does not step aside, what can your organization do to try and help him win? Or do you believe some in your organization would either not vote or vote for Donald Trump?
Look, if President Biden remains the Democratic nominee, I'm certain all of our members will support him. We will continue to make the case that former President Trump presents a profound risk to American democracy. So we will do that, but we will be very concerned at the risk that that President Biden loses the election. So none of us are going to switch to supporting the other candidate, but we want to do everything we can to have the strongest candidate we can. And we believe there is a very strong bench in the Democratic Party. And it is sad that we're not having the opportunity to have an alternative given they exist.
Danielle, I only have 10 seconds left. One Democrat we've written about has said that, look, nobody thinks Joe Biden can win. Do you believe that he absolutely can't win now?
I don't think we can say anything that definitively, but I think the chances are, unfortunately, that he is far more likely to lose than win.
Okay, Daniella Ballou-Aares, we will leave it there, but we really thank you for voicing this on CNN. Appreciate it.